Hey guys, Tommy Swamp. Welcome to today's video. What we're going to be looking at today is whether or not it's entirely possible to have great sounding guitar tone that you can use in your recordings, jamming at home, or use in a band scenario, or whatever the case may be. We can do that for under 500 bucks. Bucks I'm talking about, I'm here in the UK, so it's obviously in pounds. So I've put together what I use here and the little song I put together, the cost breakdown of everything in order to get it sounding like this. Now the song that I'll be playing, it's not a mixing demo. I haven't done any mixing to the song. It's basically 2-channel recorded guitars, no post EQ, nothing. The raw tone to the left, the raw tone to the right, and then I'm using some VST drums. Now that obviously all costs a bit of money, but again, we're still aiming for the under 500 mark. I didn't record any bass for this, I didn't do any mixing, so there's no additional plugins, there's no additional nothing. This is just what it could possibly sound like from a starting point, and also with very affordable gear. Now the first things first, what we're going to look at is obviously the guitar I'm using. This is a Ibanez GR121EX. Now it's a discontinued model. I bought this back in 2013. I got it secondhand for a full-blown whacked 90 bucks. At the time when it was new, they were about 180, 190. As you see here on the screenshot, I've got there's currently one on eBay for sale for 160, but the guy's open to offers, so you'll be able to pick it up for even cheaper. You know, standard. I mean, the reason I like this guitar is the reverse headstock. I'm obviously an RG guy. The other thing I've done here is I have upgraded the stock pickup, though, the bridge pickup, to a Damasio deactivator, and I've obviously added these little red accents just to make it look a little bit nicer. But all in all, still a very budget guitar. As you can see, the guitar cost me 90 quid, the pickup cost 80 quid, and these two little red volume and tone knobs were $5.99 or something like that, £8 off eBay. So that's the starting point. This is the axe we're using. Then I run a Planet Waves L shape lead, plugs this side of the guitar straight into my interface. As you can see here, I just went on Google. They're roughly £23, depending on where you buy them from. So it's a little bit more on the pricey side. We could have gone even cheaper with the cable and just any old entry-level cable, but obviously because we're using as little things as possible, a good quality cable can obviously make a massive difference. Now the next thing over here, you can't see it, but I'll do a separate angle. I have my Focusrite Scarlett Solo, which is still the first generation one, which I bought back in 2015. All the Solos are roughly about £90 new. There's one on eBay here. You can see you can pick one up for about £50 now. It is a bit dated, but from a refresh rate, hertz point of view, output, it's a clean, solid audio interface, USB audio interface, straight into your computer. Oh, sorry, rolling back, this whole $500 thing. We're going under the assumption that you already have a computer with Windows 10 or an Apple or whatever the case may be. You stole your dad's computer, you stole one from work, whatever. You've got one to your disposal, you've got a laptop or whatever the case may be. You can use a laptop as well, anything with decent processing power and a bit of memory. Because your audio interface is USB, this is where the whole setup starts. So we're going with the assumption you already have a computer, you don't want to spend tons of money on an amp, or even if you've got a little practice amp but you want something that's much better quality because you don't have the money for a decent mic to mic up your semi-decent amp, so your recordings will sound rubbish anyway. So we use software, affordable things that can give you great tone at home for a very small budget. Okay, so after guitar, Planet Waves cable, into the audio interface, into the computer. Now what I use for my guitar tone is the Neural DSP Gojira plugin. It has been my go-to now since the release last year. It's a phenomenal plugin. I can't rate it enough. I've tried some of the other ones, but this one just is the one that stood out the most for me, and the tone I get out of it with all my, and even my more expensive guitars and gear, is exactly what I was after. Absolutely in love with it. Great stuff. I obviously have on the recording, I have a pre-saved list of settings, how my tone that I use, and then there's this little clean section in the song as well, which has got a lot of like reverb and delay in it, which is also part of inside the Gojira plugin. It's just a clean amp setting on there. That's it from a tone perspective to get my guitar sounding the way they do, and whether or not this cheap little baby can actually sound pretty decent. So for the Gojira plugin, they currently on the website they're 130 euros, which comes to about 111 pounds to have the plugin, like the full license. 2-week free trial, obviously, if you want to test it out first, like all Neural DSP products. I also bought that on discount during a sale, and I ended up spending roughly about 80 pounds for it. I had like a 20 or 30% off at the time, so even better, saved a few pennies there. So that's it for how I get my guitar tone. Now for the DAW, I use Cubase Elements 11, so just the entry-level one. I needed a new one because my old Cubase version was ancient and none of the VST3s works on it anymore, so I had to actually wake up and get into the 21st century and actually catch up a little bit. So I just bought Elements 11 to get myself back into Cubase. I will probably eventually upgrade to Artist or the full one as time goes by, maybe on 12. On the shopping, you can see here, £79 depending on where you buy it from for the software key. You can download the software off the Cubase website, and there you go. So that's another 80 quid onto the thing, but I definitely recommend it. I mean, there's other DAWs out there, and if you have a Mac, you can use GarageBand, which is also free, which knocks up even more money. It's not, I'm not saying you have to use Cubase, because that's just my preference. Lots of people use Logic and all the other types of Reaper and what have you. So that's what I use, so that's another 80 quid to the fold, boom. And then we've got, for the drum programming in here, I use the Get Good Drums One Kid Wonder, the metal one, which is the cheapest one they actually have. I don't have the Invasion or any of the other ones yet. That currently goes for 50 something, 52 pounds, I think. Brand new. I bought that on a Black Friday deal or whatever, and I ended up paying, I think, 40 pounds in total for it. And that's it. That's the line. So guitar, cable straight into my Focusrite USB into the computer. That's my main interface. I use Cubase as my DAW, and then load up the Archetype Gojira plugin for my guitar sound. So the guitars record clean and you apply it after. And then I use the One Kid Wonder for the drums. And like I say, this is just a left and right guitar demo. No post editing, this is just the raw settings of what the plugin produces. And in two takes, one on each side with a little clean section. And then the drums I pre-programmed the drums on One Kid Wonder. So here's a little song, and then you tell me whether or not you think the tone is great. that's it, guys. Thanks a mil for sitting through another video and checking out my how to get reasonable good tone with super cheap gear, stuff under $500, pounds even. So, you know, if this is achievable, like I said, this is unmixed. I haven't done any post EQing, I haven't done anything to it. I haven't mixed the drums, I haven't done anything. And it's all, as a starting point, it's already sounding, you know, I think, in my personal opinion, for a $90 guitar with an $80 pickup in, you know, 170, I think it sounds great. So, you know, play through a $100 plugin, and this is what we can achieve with today's standards. So, thanks again, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.